Welcome to day 25 of the Wii Party 90-day challenge. There are 83 different minigames spanning across Wii Party, and I have a lot to say about them. As this game has been constantly played over the years, it's now in my best interest as an adult to give a proper deep dive into each game and its offerings. What's good, y'all? My name is Josh. I'm the current world record holder for Board Game Island, and this is Wii Party Minigame Review. So our first perception of Wii Party was solid. Aside from Party Fill being an absolute pain in the butt to understand due to intense amounts of autism, we played our first ever minigame in Derby Dash. And to be honest, I'm surprised the minigame was even that great to begin with. It felt like a carried strategy, solid motion controls that weren't too demanding, and a sense of peace while playing. Except for my horse's life being on the line. I can tell this rascal's been through it for real. Anyways, we meet our next match of the minigame. If you even remotely decide to shift these letters around, let me tell you, you'll be in for a rude awakening on the toilet. This game synonymously has one linked to it bearing the same name, except it's under the challenge mode. This in and of itself has a whole nother set of games that highlight 3 other pair minigames with additional levels and a countdown to go for the fastest time. There are 3 other separate games as well that have their own respective depth and are genuinely a fun time, but we'll get to what this version of Shifty Gifts entails here in a bit. I'm getting ahead of myself here. The next minigame is Shifty Gifts. Like the 7-year-old kid I was when I got this game, not really, I'm poor, this game is as straightforward as it seems by the 240p video highlighting some intense gameplay. This time the Wii remote is shown stationary on its side. Oh, there is some side-to-side movement. You'd wonder why you'd need to move the Wii remote at all if the whole goal is to not let them topple over. If the presents are piling up as it says, my first reaction would be to do nothing at all. Just stand still. Even the control section doesn't do itself justice. Hold the Wii remote sideways and tilt it left or right to balance your stack of gifts. This wording is so counterintuitive, I would fall if I tilt. There's gotta be something I'm missing here because, to be quite frank, the game is basically telling you to fall over but still keep a perfect stack at the same time. Alright, to the gameplay we go. We're met with the 4 of us on some random street corner with bouncing gifts spawning from the sky? Okay, so Satoru Iwata must have had a dream about this because he was randomly gifted Mario Party 9 2 years later, so in the meantime, this was to make up for that dreaded mistake. Only good games, Nintendo. I'm not even going to move my Wii remote and see how we do. Even with a little gust of wind, I'm already seeming to do better than everybody else. Literally none of them can stand still. They probably overdosed on caffeine prior to this. Some random dude on a bike rides by and I randomly stumble? That doesn't even logically make sense. He's nowhere near me. How could he of all people hinder my balance being that far away? Anyways, a random truck passes by in front of all the players and now we got 2 more gifts and a teddy bear that matches the color of my shirt. Easily the best game ever. This will be such a breeze. The boxes aren't that slippery. Well, that made next to no sense. At least with Derby Dash, it told us to be careful, but here there was no warning of any hazard, so how was I supposed to know? Well, I guess I could go back and tilt my Wii remote to see if I can win this thing. I still don't get why the gifts would slip like that, but Nintendo has always been confusing, so I'll roll with it. After playing as the controls intended, we finally got our much-needed first place appearance. This one was weird at first. It would make sense, like I prefaced before, to stand relatively still, but maybe it was the pressure of the other gifts falling onto the stack that made it so hard to balance, I don't know. At that point, I just collapsed to the ground due to all that heavy weight. Disregarding that, it's a straightforward minigame once you play through it once or twice. Maybe the minigame is a little too easy. Beating this minigame on master mode is not much of a challenge at all if you at least have some form of stabilization. God forbid you have Tourette's. Nah, in all seriousness, I can see why this got its own challenge mode, which I'll cover now. What I find the most fascinating about this mode of Shifty Gifts is that it has a second rules dropdown which actually explains what the game does moving forward. Why didn't it put this in the minigame rules? It literally makes no sense. Alright, so you start off with 3 gifts as per usual, then after about 10 seconds you get another set of 3. Throughout the first minute, Mii's on pogo sticks will come around to distract you along with the wind and bicyclists. Then we are met with another set of 3 gifts. Throughout the second minute, Mii's will run circles around you to deter your attention. This is realistically the only one so far that could properly hinder you in real life, so at least this makes sense. Then we come across a Mii getting startled by another Mii pushing a barrel toward them. I could see this potentially scaring me, but it wouldn't seem too bad, I think. Then another 3. Now we got the pizza delivery driver doing laps. Goodness me, this is more chaotic than I thought it would be. And a random dude doing a front flip. That's fun. Alright, I think you know where this is going. Another 3. Alongside all of this going on, there's just some random actioning happening in the background, like a superhero flying, random UFOs, a couple of helicopters. Oh, would you look at that? We're nearing the end. 2 gifts and the good old teddy bear sadly not matching me this time. By this point, stabilizing the Wii remote is much harder than I would have ever given it credit for. Eventually, a dude is running on the barrel getting chased, and then they both get chased by 5 barrels. Goodness gracious, no wonder I couldn't handle this. All of my gifts managed to fly everywhere and explode upon impact with just about 4.5 minutes in. The timer maxes out at 5 minutes if you do happen to get to the very end. That's right, we gotta rate this game now. Referring to the last video, we have 3 ranking categories, them being enjoyment, difficulty, and replayability. I will rank both the minigame version and the challenge version. Since most players will naturally play the minigame version, I'm going to be a bit more strict with my rating out of 10. I don't enjoy this version. It lacks continuity, most games end in 20 seconds, and the CPUs don't make it any better. This minigame was meant to be played against all human players. With that, I'm going to be stingy in giving this a 2 out of 10 for enjoyment. As for the challenge version, I liked it a lot. It had elements that genuinely made it difficult to stay balanced, and some funny ones at that. Definitely a solid one for sure. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 for enjoyment. Now, difficulty. I mentioned the minigame version is kinda too easy. The CPUs give out earlier than you might expect, and so for that, I'm giving it a 3 out of 10 for difficulty. And the challenge version, man, it's a 10 out of 10 for difficulty, bro. I couldn't even hit 5 minutes. The closest I got was 4 minutes and 52 seconds. If I tried a bit harder and a little longer, I could probably hit it, but man, this is insanely difficult to beat. It's not a proper comparison, but if I were to play this version alongside these other minigames we're gonna cover, they just don't hail in comparison. It truly is difficult. As well as that, I'm gonna rank the challenge version a 10 out of 10 for replayability. At the end of the day, a game like this was meant to be replayed, and they do it quite well, especially for most players who don't hit 5 minutes. But the minigame version fails in that department. I always choose to play the challenge mode, so this is going to unfortunately wind up at a 1 out of 10 for replayability. That's it for the Wii Party minigame review. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed, and leave a like and comment your ratings down below. I want to see what you guys think about this. And I'll see y'all in the next review.